rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. And I am your host, Rick. Well, we're trying something a little bit new tonight, new to me anyway. We're doing a little bit different protocol, and by protocol, I mean computer protocol, rules, things like that. It's a different mechanism by which to stream, and we're trying something new, trying to stabilize my connection a little bit better. So we're going to have to see how things go tonight. And if so, this might actually be the preferred method moving forward. But again, if I come into some technical difficulties, I hope you will at least understand. You know, you guys have always been so forgiving anyway. For everything that's been going on here, especially recently. I had lunch with my business partner in TGRN. We've got some great things coming in the near future for that particular venture. So that, and by near future, I mean, you know, Q1, Q2 of next year, probably. But still, it's some good, really good stuff, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Also, let's see. Is there anything else that I need to talk about? Yeah. Well, Leftist Vermont, we'll be starting that off here in just a minute, but Leftist Vermont demonstrates that they are no longer interested necessarily in the United States of America. So we'll keep that on the down, or on the upload on the next, the first story that we have coming up here. But first, we need to take care of the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight is May He Rest in Peace, Buddy's opportunity to recite the pledge. So if you are of mind, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with our Buddy Weiser, may he rest in peace, as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I hereby pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one nation under one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all her citizens. So help me God.
And, of course, I am proud to have known Buddy, even for just the short time that we did. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file that you create, and send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the program. Buddy also was very fond of saying that if you do it via your phone, then you should use the share option. Share it to fans at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I, of course, will get you into the program. We are at 20. I'd love to see 21. So if you get an opportunity to do so, I do appreciate that. So anyway, let's talk about tonight's headline sponsor, which is another big, there's some big announcements going on with the Institute on the Constitution. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about them real quick. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission: and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback, a leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Take a look at this wonderful book. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue used for the binding here, folks. This is stitched all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if there is a problem, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved. Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to study for and pass your civics badge in Scouts. It also will probably, more than likely, help you to get your civics exam as well as that naturalization exam taken care of as well. G calls out that the stitching could be used for professional tennis rackets and are Chris Evert and Jimmy Connors approved. My whiskey warriors, they all come up with all these wonderful things. Anyway, go and check it out. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online to get yours today. Get them soon if you want to stick them in stockings. You're running out of time. I think by the end of this week is probably where you need to target if you're planning on getting them, and to stick them in the stockings because, they make stocking stuffers. They make great gifts. Your conservative friends and conservative family will love them, and, of course, the leftists in your family will entertain you by all of the crap that they spew with regards to it and the attempts to try and destroy it, because that's what they do. Anyway, head on over to constitution.americanperspective.online today and go and check out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's offerings. And I thank them for allowing me to be a affiliate. All right. Well, in case you did not know, Vermont, which is left-wing, well, they have a school district over there that apparently has decided that there is another country that is more important than the United States when you're within the United States borders. And no, I'm not saying this because they're saying it. I'm saying it because they had the audacity to raise another country's flag next to our good old beloved Old Glory. That's right. They raised the Somali flag. It's the Winooski, Nwinooski. You know, they have their crap is just as bad as here up in the Pacific Northwest because it's all named for, like, Native American tribes and stuff like that. So sometimes you can't pronounce crap correctly. Anyway, the Winooski School District in Vermont raised the Somalian flag because apparently they are honoring their Somali youth and families in Winooski and Vermont. And they posted this on X. Okay, I want to take a look at this video because I want to see, I want to see in particular if they put this thing higher than the American flag. Yeah, here, let's just go ahead and take a look. Oh, they put the flag up. So I don't know if there's another flag somewhere, but that's what they did, is they put the flag up. Oh, my gosh. What the hell? They didn't even put up the American flag. They just put up the Somali flag, it looks like, in the video. That's what they posted. Now, they supposedly told Outkick, by the way, that the Somali flag was raised on one of its 3 flagpoles. Oh, and I guess here in the Outkick, they said that the American flag is on the highest mast in accordance with the United States flag code. I was wondering if they were going to do that. They probably would have if it weren't for the fact that these dumbasses, they got to celebrate another country. Why? What the hell? Anyway, apparently the Vermont state flag was on the 2nd mast, and then the Somali flag was raised on the 3rd mast, which the district said is for affinity groups. Now, I know Boston does this, but, I have a question. I have a serious question for this Vermont school district. Would they raise the Christian flag on that 3rd flagpole if somebody were to ask? Like, I don't know, maybe have it there for December 25th, the birthday of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Would they put that up there? I would bet you dollars to donuts. Nope. They would probably turn me down if I were to ask that. If I were to ask for it. School district's website was unavailable as of 2 p.m. on Monday. The district instead put up a temporary page saying that its website was currently removed from public view as the district works to address and mitigate an unprecedented volume of illegitimate traffic targeting our services. Well, it serves you dumbasses right. The temporary page read, please check back shortly. We appreciate your patience and understanding as we work to ensure a safe and stable environment for our community. Yeah. Again, I'm just going to ask this question, a simplistic question. If you really hate this country so much, why in the hell are you here? I mean, really, why are you here if you hate it? Okay? I don't understand this. You hate this country so much, get the hell out. That's all I got to say. Now, the superintendent, Wilmar Chavaria, said in a post on Facebook on Saturday, our district will protect and fight for our students regardless of their status or the actions of their parents. All children should sleep in their own beds and wake up early Monday to get to class. I thank the people of conscience in Vermont who joined us in this plea. They were rallying, in reference to that, they were rallying against ICE over the detention of a 2nd grader who was picked up with his mother over Thanksgiving in Texas. Seriously? I mean, again, if you're here illegally, you're already across the border. You're already a criminal. What are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, straight up. Now, I personally think that there should only be, in terms of flags here in the United States, there should only be, if you're going to fly a flag, the number one only flag that should be flown is, of course, Old Glory. And then if you're going to fly a second flag, that second flag can go ahead and be the state flag. There should be no third flag. I don't even care if you're like putting it up like, oh, we're just going to honor whatever other flags that are there. No. If you're going to fly the American flag, fly the American flag. You're going to fly your state flag, fly your state flag. But other than that, that's it. There really isn't anything else unless you're going to fly something like, oh, I don't know, military flags, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. Sure. I mean, granted, as a secondary flag, I mean, I don't fly my state flag on my flagpole. I put the American flag up, and then as secondary flags, which are below on the same flagpole, is usually my Army flag, and right below that is the Gadsden flag, typically. And the only time that the gold glory is actually usurped on my flagpole is 2 days of the year. Day number 1 is the birth of Jesus Christ our Lord, in which I fly the Christian flag. And the second day is his celebration of his death at Easter, in which I fly the Christian flag. Other than that, that's it. I don't fly any of these other flags that are out there. I mean, again, you know, you want to fly like the MIA POW flag or something along those lines. Hey, that's fine. But there should not be a single, in terms of being in America, outside of course, the United Nations, because that makes sense. But in America, you should not be flying any other country's flag anywhere. I don't care what it is. And apparently my closed captioning went and said the dads didn't flag. When I was saying the Gadsden flag. Gadsden. There we go. Now I got it right. Not the dads didn't flag. Come on, seriously? All right. Anyway, all right. Well, there you go. I just wanted to make a comment about that because that is just absolutely stupid. If these people are here in America, they should be. If they're here as refugees, fine. But if they're here as potential naturalized citizens, yeah, they shouldn't be. I mean, again, why do you have people, for an example, in all those protests in the streets, whenever you see them happening, why are people carrying Palestinian flags, or why are they carrying Mexican flags? They're here in the United States. There isn't, technically, Palestine isn't even a country, so the Palestinian flag, well, I guess doesn't really have any reason to exist. Kind of interesting that the state of Minnesota patterned their flag similarly to the Somalian flag. And then, of course, we see Minnesota and there's Somalian fraud, waste, and abuse happening by that segment of society. Anyway, enough about that. All right. Apparently there was a new memo that was released. And it was, it was leaked. I mean, you know, let's just say it wasn't, I don't know if it was like officially released, but it was leaked. And apparently it was a memo written by Joe Biden's advisors back in August of 2020 that actually warned that his proposed immigration agenda, well, let's be real, lack thereof, could trigger chaos at the southern border. Now, what's amazing about this leaked memo is not that it's coming, you know, that it's leaked or realistically what was contained within it, but it's more the fact that the New York Times is the one that's reporting on it. Yeah, that leftist propagandist outlet, the New York Times, decided to report on this. So the memo apparently delivered during Biden's presidential campaign cautioned that policy shifts combined with economic pressures from COVID and the transition from the Trump administration could lead to a sharp rise in illegal border crossings. So what this memo is kind of saying is that, the administration, the Biden administration, was warned that all of this could cause a bit of a problem. And they ignored it. They ignored it. The advisors apparently wrote on this memo, quote, a potential surge could create chaos and a humanitarian crisis, overwhelm processing capacities, and imperil the agenda of the new administration. The Times reported that while Biden seemed to grasp the risk, he and senior aides did not act on those recommendations. Well, no shit. Biden probably barely even really figured it out. According to the report, the memo outlined multiple options intended to avert an expected influx. Those proposals included making it easier to quickly reject asylum claims, transferring some migrants to other countries, continuing the Remain in Mexico policy, which you know they weren't going to do that because that was a Trump policy, and holding migrants in reception centers until their cases could get processed. Well, yeah, that was, anyway. The Times noted that these were presented as tools to reduce pressure on the system and deter unlawful entries. But he ignored it. Yes. So now that kind of brings up a question, because if he ignored those policies, could we be talking about potentially, if he knew all of this, could we be talking about potentially, sedition or treason or seditious acts? Well, I mean, considering that he became the president of the United States, that would be tough to prove, but it does make an interesting scenario and an interesting case. Now, Biden implemented a series of immigration policy changes after taking office in January of 2021. He issued a 100-day pause on deportations. He ended construction of the border wall, suspended the Remain in Mexico, narrowed enforcement categories for arrest, and sent draft legislation to Congress that included a pathway to citizenship for individuals who were already in the country illegally. That same administration also acted on additional immigration measures during its first months. They coincided with a significant rise in illegal border crossings. As the crossings increased, the Times mentioned and reported that the advisors across the administration kept offering ideas to deter migrants, aliens, but political concerns remained. The result was paralysis. Yeah, aiding and abetting an invasion, as there was a declaration of an invasion made here in Texas, she says. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep. Now, the Times also reported that some of the Biden-Harris administration officials internally suggested using federal resources to actually help the aliens reach their intended destinations in cooperation with receiving cities. That idea was also rejected by the senior advisors. Now, it's interesting that Texas Governor Greg Abbott actually started busing people to cities across the country. Anyway. Yeah. According to the Times, many officials came to view Mr. Abbott's campaign as the point the Democrats actually lost the debate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. So, yeah. Anyway. By the way, the Times, of course, because it is a leftist propagandist outlet, it can't, come out and say that was an absolute abysmal policy shift from the Trump administration previously to him. They can't say that because, they talked about it, and it dances around the uncomfortable truth that the invasion was perfectly acceptable to Joe Biden and his team until it started costing them elections. Yeah. It wrote, anger over illegal migration, aliens, helped return Mr. Trump to the presidency, and he has enacted even more aggressive policies than those Mr. Biden first campaigned against. Mr. Trump has drawn outrage from Democrats by sending masked agents to target aliens. They say immigrants, but they're aliens. Often aided by National Guard soldiers, which is legal, and constitutional. Anyway. The New York Times continues and says, but a New York Times examination of Mr. Biden's record found that he and his closest advisors repeatedly rebuffed recommendations that could have addressed the border crisis faster and eased what became a potent issue for Mr. Trump as he sought to return to the White House and justify the aggressive tactics rolling in American cities today. Yep. Now, of course, the key quote in that is that his advisors repeatedly rebuffed recommendations recommendations that could have addressed the border crisis faster, which in other words is potentially a euphemistic way to basically say, yeah, the border crisis was intentional. No kidding. No kidding. What's funny is this piece actually kind of looks as more of like a pseudo mea culpa. We know Democrats don't do mea culpas. They don't apologize. They don't say, you know what? Damn it, we were wrong. No, they're not going to do that because they are so wrapped up in their own internal, I don't even know what to call it. I had a thought of a word and then it just disappeared. But anyway, the point being is that these people don't really give a crap about saying, I'm sorry, we were wrong. They never say they're wrong because God forbid they actually admit that they're wrong. Anyway. So, yeah. But thankfully, the New York Times has finally acknowledged that the Biden administration's role in the border crisis. The paper, by the way, still framed Biden as merely slow or miscalculating. Well, I mean, it's easy to be slow when you're actually non-compos mentis. Although they do kind of point out, and they tried to make it sound like he just sort of stumbled into the crisis through sheer incompetence, which I don't know which one would be worse, incompetence or intentional. I mean, either one is bad, but I mean, I'm not exactly saying it was incompetence, but at least on Biden's part, but his senior advisors, absolutely, it was intentional. So, yeah. Anyway, so that, of course, came all summed up when Donald Trump made this statement in his joint address to Congress, not the State of the Union, but his joint address to Congress shortly after he got elected and in office. He said, the media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation to secure the border. But it turns out that all we really needed was a new president. He was right once again. It's been obvious for this. The Biden administration facilitated the border crisis. They ignored senior advisors trying to tell him and tell, anyone that would listen, hey, look, this is a bad idea. Yeah. For those of us who have been saying this crap all this time, it's a validation. Validation of everything that we've been saying. All right. Well, let me tell you, before I move on to the next item, let me tell you about this fantastic combination. A fantastic combination. If you're looking for smarter ways to browse and enjoy your favorite content without ads, you might as well purchase the Perplexity Pro Bundle with Rumble Premium for just $19.99 a month when you sign up before December 31st. It's normally a $29.99 value, but you're getting it for $19.99 a month. With Rumble Premium, you'll get an ad-free viewing experience across all of your devices and access to exclusive premium content on those channels. No interruptions, just the videos and streams you love anytime, anywhere. Plus, as a part of this bundle, Perplexity Pro boosts your productivity with unlimited research, unlimited uploads, exclusive member perks, and access to the latest and most advanced AI models for faster, smarter answers every day. Save over 30% with this powerful bundle. Head to rumble.com/premium before December 31st to sign up and unlock your premium experience. Head to rumble.com/premium before December 31st to pick up the Perplexity Pro Bundle with Rumble Premium for just $19.99 a month when you sign up. Again, before December 31st. It's coming soon, folks. You might want to get over there to rumble.com/premium and sign up quickly in order to save 30% on this powerful bundle of Perplexity Pro and Rumble Premium. Go to rumble.com/premium before December 31st to sign up and unlock this powerful bundle and your premium experience. All right. Well, I always knew that Joy Reid was a complete idiot. And now we apparently have a new video that's come out. Well, it's not new. It's an old video, but it's a video that has been resurfaced that basically confirms how much of an idiot she actually is. She apparently went on this rant, and let me see where this is. It's a resurfaced video, and it was reported by the Independent Journal Review. And yeah, she basically, here. Let's just go ahead and I'm sorry, but I'm going to subject you to this because this is how stupid these people are. Literally how stupid these people are.
This nation was founded by killers who slaughtered 90% of the indigenous people, leeches who glommed off of the indigenous who taught them how to survive in the wilderness and then murdered them as their things and then took all their land. And you want to talk about entitlement, they felt entitled to own other people and they didn't even want to pay taxes on it. So they decided to have a whole war with Britain.
What a complete and utter stupid moron. Oh my Lord. Does she not realize? I mean, honestly, did she not realize that the Pilgrims who came here and actually started the process for founding of this country had the longest running treaty with the native tribe? We talked about it. It was 50 years, a 50-year treaty with the tribe signed by Chief Massasoit. Seriously. And then she talks about how the founders, it wasn't until later in our history. It wasn't until later in our history till we started having issues with the Native American tribes and all of the atrocities. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They were atrocities. And they honestly, you know, we can't shy away from the bad history and only give the good history. But this is a utterly stupid take on American history. And people watch that video and they think, oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. No, folks. Just like when people sit there and think, oh, the Constitution automatically included the first 10 amendments known as the Bill of Rights, because that's how it's taught in school. But in actuality, the Bill of Rights didn't come until about 2 years later, after the writing of the Constitution. Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, she's an idiot. She's a complete idiot. And she follows along with some things like that, where during the 2024 election, she criticized white women for not supporting former Vice President Kamala Harris. She said on November 5th, 2024, during MSNBC's election coverage, in the end, if they didn't make their numbers and essentially exceed the numbers that Joe Biden had in the suburbs, I think we have to be blunt about why. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not, which we all know is actually a lie. That white women voters are the ones that basically upheld Kamala Harris from a total shellacking. That it was the groups that the leftists call the people of color. They are the ones who carried Trump. The independent voters carried Trump. You know, Trump put together a coalition that has been unseen in terms of the electorate in decades. Not since Ronald Reagan's complete wipeout of Jimmy Carter and then following along Walter Mondale. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, she's just a complete, utter idiot. Not to mention the fact that she's also very racist. And apparently, because they still haven't figured out who hijacked her social media account and posted a whole bunch of homophobic slurs, let's just say. I think that was it. Anyway, yeah. So, it's no real surprise that she ended up where she is, like being completely thrown out, being terminated. And just to remind everybody, on February 19th of 2025, she drew 922,000 viewers, compared to 973,000 with MSNBC host Chris Hayes. Yeah, and those were far below the viewership numbers of even Lawrence O'Donnell and Rachel Mad Cow Maddow. Anyway. All right. Well, folks, if you live in Texas, I'm just going to tell you, the Representative Colin Allred, the Democrat House representative who decided that he was going to jump into the Senate race, he's dropped out. He said, I'm done. And he actually also did say that he was going to run and represent the newly drawn District 33. So he is changing his tune and going from the Senate back to the House of Representatives. And of course, that is now paving the way, in terms of the Democrats are concerned, paving the way for Jasmine Crockett to throw her hair into the ring. Well, it looks like she's going to do it. That's right. She has filed paperwork. She has filed paperwork to run for U.S. Senate in Texas. Now, keep in mind, she and Al Green, not the singer, but the moron who stands there and tries to impeach Trump for a bunch of crap and, got himself kicked out of the speech that Trump was given to the joint session of Congress. But apparently, Crockett filed last-minute paperwork to run in the Texas Democratic primary in March and is expected to, expected to announce her bid later on Monday. I got to check and see what is the date on this. This was yesterday, so she was supposed to announce it yesterday, I guess. So, yeah. Anyway, she's 44 years old. Oh my God. How can somebody be 44 years old and be as stupid as she is? Never mind. I don't know. Anyway, the 44-year-old congresswoman who represents parts of the Dallas area is considered a firebrand for her party as a vocal critic of President Trump and a key surrogate for the 2024 campaign trail. Her entrance could potentially rally the Democratic base. Yeah, that's going to rally a whole bunch of stupid. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. State Representative James Tallarico is still standing firm in his bid, so you're probably going to see Tallarico versus Crockett. I don't know which one is more stupid. But Tallarico wrote in a Monday afternoon statement that we're building a movement in Texas fueled by record-breaking grassroots fundraising. They always say that, but it never appears. It never shows up that's the way it is. I mean, seriously. Anyway, he continues and says, 10,000 volunteers who are putting in the work to defeat the billionaire mega donors. That's their base. That's their base. That's the Democrat base, is billionaire mega donors. Hell, they had to create Act Blue in order to hide all of the money that they were getting from both foreign entities as well as the billionaire mega donors. He continues and says, puppet politicians who have taken over our state. Yeah, really. Anyway. So the Republicans are also duking it out for the nomination. Senator John Cornyn is facing off against Attorney General Ken Paxton and Representative Wesley Hunt. So there's three of them in the Republican side. Now, none of the men have received Trump's endorsement yet, as the race is largely centered on who would be the best position to help the president execute his agenda during his last 2 years of office. Now, just to give you an idea of the intelligence level of Jasmine Crockett in the state of Texas. Not that I'm saying that you guys, that you folks need this, but I'm going to go ahead and play it for you anyway, because here is who you possibly could be electing or have on the docket to elect in Texas for your Senate choice. Here, let's go ahead and take a listen.
I want people to understand that there are crimes that are committed not because people are criminals, but because they literally are trying to survive.
That we know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it. Because I'm sorry, but we don't have ethical rules that say that you can't receive text message, especially if somebody has a certain record and you can't do it in committee. We all be sitting on our phones, and yes, people be texting.
But do you think that was inappropriate? I mean, would you text with someone who is a registered sex offender about what you should ask?
I honestly know that he had never been convicted of any federal crimes at that time.
But he had been in jail already.
I'm not mad at any federal workers except for the ones that have continued to get paid, which means it's me and my coworkers. I'm obviously not mad at myself either.
I want people to understand that
okay, wait a minute. What's that? Wait. She says she's mad at all of the federal workers that were getting paid during the shutdown, but she's not mad at herself. Oh my God. Just look, Texas, all I got to say all I got to say, folks, is if that is if that ends up being your representative, my God, you guys have freaking flipped. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Oh, man, that just, you know what? It's even bad when your own Democrat colleagues have problems trying to promote you. Seriously, when you have a Democrat colleague, you know, if you're running for an office after having already been in office, you really should have at least a beginning of a record of accomplishments in order to be able to be reelected a second time or change jobs, as what she is doing, because most people consider the House of Representatives to be the lower chamber, the Senate to be the upper chamber, and because of the fact that the senators are elected for 6 years, while the House of Representatives are elected for 2 years, that the two of them, if you're moving from the House of Representatives up to the Senate, that is considered a promotion. Now, I don't know how it's considered a promotion, but it is. It's considered a promotion in the politics, the political world. And so anyway, how anybody... Oh my gosh. You guys got to see this. This is a Democrat. This is a Democrat person trying to enhance Jasmine Crockett. Take a listen.
Line at the hour that she would announce. Patrick, she is not the kind of candidate, at least to this point, who has done a lot in her district. Can you point to something that Jasmine Crockett has done that would make people say, oh my gosh, let's elect this person who is awful at times to people in what she says. Let's elect her to the Senate.
Yeah, listen, I think we have two great candidates here. I don't know her exact background. I mean, I met her, I know her, but you have to admit, though, she is a fighter. She's out there in the national media, much like Gavin Newsom.
So she's an influencer. You want me to be impressed politically by that?
No, in the congressional hearings, I think she's pretty tough. Listen, I'm talking about her record as a member of Congress.
Okay, what's that?
Well, I think she's holding this administration accountable on a lot of different things. I mean, she's been pretty adamant about sticking to what the Constitution says and what it doesn't say. I've seen some of her congressional hearings. She is a smart lawyer that was a public defender in that district before she got into office. And then she's been there. You can't deny the fact that she's not a backbencher. She has been at the forefront on a message to hold this administration accountable. I would say, though, Harris, real quick, she does have a primary opponent. James Tallarico, as you know, is a man of faith. And I would say, someone who was at church for the second week of Advent yesterday. I mean, you look at, that's the blessings of the Democratic Party. We have a great bunch of folks, a wide, basically, base, just like the Republicans do. I mean, we don't know who their nominees going to be. I like Wesley Hunt, who's in third right now.
You don't know what John Cornyn's, you don't know what the AG of Texas. I mean, these people have records. She should have a record, too. What you gave me was her public influencer profile, how much talking she does and does it sometimes in the House. And Tallarico, we don't know as well, and that's fair. But as much talking as she's done, I thought maybe you would have pointed to something. David?
Well,
yeah. Seriously, if you're going to run for office for your first time out, you better not have a damn thing necessarily, any kind of schedule, any kind of, what do you call it? Skeletons in your closet. But oh my Lord, you can't, are you serious? Are you serious? See, this is coming from the same woman who did this just recently. Take a listen. Oh.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review.
Yeah, everybody to review except for your dumbass, because that was not the Jeffrey Epstein that you were attempting to try, or that she was attempting to try and assign. It was a doctor, a separate doctor, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, MD. Oh, this is your potential Senate pick. Yeah. You're brilliant. Oh, and let's not forget this striking in the what is it, the Human Rights Campaign speech that she gave. Yeah, let's not forget this one.
And because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had the volume up a little high. But yeah, Governor Hot Wheels making fun of a man who was in a wheelchair due to an accident for over 40 years. Yeah. Right. Folks, Texas, if you vote this lady in for your senator, oh my Lord. I have no, you know, somebody was, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was somebody who was trying to get on this show or whatever. And the comment that was made was like, hey, I have an answer to correcting the problem. Well, I have an answer to correcting the problem too. It's called the electorate needs to frickin' wake up and smell the damn coffee. Take the red fucking pill. Be able to actually think critically. Rub two brain cells together in order to have a thought. That's what we need. See, we need the electorate who isn't stupid, who isn't the ones who jump onto social media and watch social media stuff. I mean, seriously. We don't need to have our presidents elected like you do on American Idol. Okay? We need serious people who actually understand the Constitution, understand what they can and cannot do. Seriously. I mean, come on. Yeah, 1775 wake-up coffee. I like that, G. That was good. They need some 1775 wake-up coffee. Hell, they need the Vitality Mushroom Blend. Laser focus. Oh, that's a free spot for 1775 coffee. If you haven't gone to 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO. Oh my God. Where do we get these people? Seriously. I mean, I know no intelligent person, no person with integrity, honor, ethics, etc. You know, it doesn't want to like jump into the ring. At least most of them don't. If they do, they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. But let's be real. Let's be honest here. Oh, this is just God, I can't even imagine how stupid one would have to be to support somebody that stupid. Oh, and by the way, to correct the record, yes, she was a public defender, but she wasn't a very good public defender because apparently her track record wasn't all that great in her lawyering. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we have a new Supreme Court ruling that has actually overturned a lower court's ruling. The Supreme Court has vacated a ruling that upheld the New York school vaccine mandate. So the justices, in their ruling, they directed the appeals court to reconsider its ruling in light of the case Mahmoud versus Taylor, the Supreme Court ruling back in June. So on December 8th, which was yesterday, the Supreme Court vacated a ruling that was upholding New York's ban on religious exemptions to its school vaccine mandate and ordered a lower court to review its stance on the ban. That particular case is known as Miller versus McDonald. The justices vacated the March decision of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, which had found that the legislation banning religious exemptions to vaccination requirements was neutral on its face and did not target or affirmatively prohibit religious practices. Yes, it does. Anytime you interfere with religious practices like that, it does. But the justices, SCOTUS, directed the appeals court to reconsider the ruling in light of Mahmoud versus Taylor, which was a Supreme Court ruling in June that sided with parents who wanted the ability to opt their children out of interacting with books in school that promote lesbian, gay, and similar lifestyles. Justices did not say how the appeals court should ultimately rule after reviewing Mahmoud versus Taylor. Now, in Mahmoud, a majority of the justices concluded that a Maryland County Board of Education violated the religious rights of parents by introducing the books into the county's curriculum and later forbidding parents from removing their children from classrooms when the stories were read. So, again, religious freedom is thankfully starting to come back a little bit here in some of these rulings, especially many of these rulings that have crossed the bow of religious exemptions and things of that nature. So, yeah. He also, Justice Samuel Alito, writing for the majority, pointed to a previous Supreme Court ruling against a Wisconsin law that prohibited Amish parents from withdrawing their children from public schools after the 8th grade. He goes, the government burdens the religious exercise of parents when it requires them to submit their children to instruction that poses a very real threat of undermining the religious beliefs and practices that the parents wish to instill. Now, Amish people are the litigants in Miller who challenged New York's 2019 law, which removed the ability of parents to seek and receive religious exemptions to the vaccines required for school attendance. The only exemptions currently allowed in New York are on medical grounds and require a doctor's certification. The Amish litigants said in their lawsuit that New York's repeal of religious exemptions violated their constitutional rights, which it did, including their right under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. So, yeah. When are these leftists actually going to, wake up and smell the coffee? The 1775 coffee. 1775coffee.com. Anyway, these people, telling you, these leftists are complete, utter lunatics and morons, and they keep going after things that they really don't need to. They're really, what they're doing is they're trying to tear down all of our principles and values and all of the tenets that made this country into the great country that it is, that we're going to be celebrating 250 years of next year on the Independence Day of July 4th. So, yeah. We got to continue the fight, folks. They're not dead yet. By that, I mean, they're not gone. They need to be. Anyway. Gee. Oh, gosh, gee, that's funny. 1775. So bold, you take one look at Crockett and say, nope, nope, nope. You don't believe me? Here it is. Here's that's G. Anyway. Alrighty, folks, that's it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective Channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to give me my thumbs up, thumbs downs, or, of course, if you're 3 Chevy, thumbs sideways across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night for Whiskey Wednesday right here, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. By the way, I don't have a pet of the week, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have, like, one queued up. So if you have a pet of the week, you need to get one in soon. Otherwise, I may have to dig in the well and see if I can find something. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening. And good night, everybody.